we put all of our skaters on wheels, but we don't want them to play too fast. Ideally, you want to be able to control your speed, so you want your jammers to get through. So basically, there'll be 4 blockers at the most from each team on the track, and 1 jammer from each team on the track as well. And the jammers are scoring the points by lapping the opposing blockers, and blockers from one team are going to be trying to help the jammers getting through, while also stopping the opposing team's jammer getting through. So it's very continuously playing offense and defense at the same time. And some people ask me, like, oh, why don't you just skate as fast as you can? It's like, well, we want to actually make it easier for our jammer to get through, because even our most fit jammer won't be able to skate so many laps if we're skating 10-second laps over and over. It's more speed control, because there's times where you do want to be fast and there's times when you want to be slow. I started out as a blocker, which I think is excellent, but now I'm more of a primary jammer. Since I learned to block first, it kind of made me appreciate blockers a whole lot more, and also made me understand the whole blocker-jammer dynamic, because a lot of it is simultaneous thinking without being able to communicate, because you're on the track and they're so loud and things like that. But as a jammer, you're generally always facing forward, pushing forward, whereas blockers are skating forward but constantly having to look backwards and trying to almost predict where the jammer and blocker has to work together to so that the blocker knows where the jammer is going to go to block someone else, and the jammer needs to know that their blocker is going to be making those moves to follow them, so that they to fall into the hole. It's a very, very complicated dynamic relationship. I just knew it was something I wanted to do. I never played sports, so I was very attracted to this one in particular. I started 2 years ago, but I started watching about 4 years ago in 2008. I just saw about, my sister took me, and it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen ever. I was just basically captivated by how interesting of a sport it is, and sometimes now I think it's a really interesting sport. I'm like, gosh, it's really fun to play, and it's constantly changing, and we're on roller skates. I just loved that about that too. I also had this feeling where the blockers were just giving it all and making holes for the jammers, kind of sacrificing themselves. And I just really liked the teamwork, and the camaraderie was just very noticeable. I also liked how accessible it was, because right afterwards you can just go up right up and talk to all the skaters, and you can meet them, and then if you really wanted to, you can join and play roller derby yourself. We are about 100 women, and a couple of men also volunteer regularly as NSOs, which is non-skating officials, so people in the middle that are doing penalty tracking. We also have people that are dedicated to our league as refs. It's not all about just the skating. We also have to do kind of side work that we don't get paid for as well. We just kind of we have tons of different committees that run the bouts. We run marketing. It's all broken up and everyone has to do a job. And we have other requirements like practice requirements and facilities where we are setting up the track and taking it down. It's very demanding, and we actually pay to skate. So there's also dues, monthly dues. I work at a basically admin job downtown, and I do that basically to support derby. If I was paid for derby, I would just totally do derby, but I need a job, I suppose, so I have a job to support my derby habits. I love playing it. I like trying to be better. I'm pretty competitive, not as competitive as some people in our league, but I do want to be better. I want to be able to push myself harder, so that's why I go to play roller derby.